How's it going? It's Henry here, and today I want to talk about something a little different from what you're used to on this channel. I'm not going to be talking about marketing directly in this video, but I'm going to be talking about the concept of staying productive and how do I stay productive in my day-to-day tasks. So I'm traveling around at the minute. I've lived in three countries over the last 6 months. I'm doing work for clients. I'm working on projects for myself. I'm searching out leads for my marketing agency. I'm recording videos like I am now. So obviously there's numerous stuff that I'm doing in my day-to-day life, in my day-to-day business work, and so on and so forth. I'm traveling around and so on, and I'm also trying to have some semblance of a social life as well, which you might be able to do. You might be trying to do. You might be trying to get things done in business, but still have a social life. So how do I manage to get things done and make progress in business at the same time? There's numerous things that I try and implement in my day-to-day life that I'm going to pass on in this video. And the first thing that I do to make sure I get things done, and the most important, not the most important, but one of the most important, is I write down my goals. So every couple of months, at the very most, I sit down and I compile a list of a number of things I'm going to be working on in the next couple of months or the next year, and so on. And I make sure, first of all, I write these in I'm not sure the actual tense. My English grammar isn't so great. I don't know the principles, but I write it in the tense. Let me give an example. I earn X amount of dollars by this date. So it is when I write those goals, almost as if they actually happen, if that makes sense. So I write down a list of about 20 goals I'm working on at this period in time. Say by X date I will earn this amount. I will have X amount of clients. I would have filmed X amount of videos, and so on. So there's a clear picture of what I want to achieve at that moment in time, and there's a clear when I'm getting to work, I know exactly what I'm working towards. So there's no friction. It's a very smooth process when I get to work because I know where I'm aiming for. So that is a very crucial thing, I would say, because if you don't know where you're aiming for, it's very hard to stay motivated and very hard to stay as productive as possible. And this is something I really do believe in. You can achieve many goals, but if you don't know where you're aiming towards, it's going to be very difficult. So I do believe first get clear on what your vision is, get clear on where you want to get to, and of course take action, and then you will reach those goals far easier.
If you can see it here and you have the courage enough to speak it, it will happen. So I see these shots, I see these sequences, and I don't shy away from them. A lot of times people believe in certain things, but they keep to themselves. They don't put it out there. If you truly believe in it, if you become vocal with it, you are creating that law of attraction, and it will become reality.
The second thing that I do in my day-to-day to make sure I stay as productive as possible is sort of related to the writing down goals thing again. But this is something I do every night before I get to bed. I sit down and I write not my long-term goals, but what I need to accomplish on the very next day. I sit down, take 10, 15 minutes maybe, and I write down a list of the 5 most important things I've got to accomplish the next day in order of importance. So I structure it down. I've got my A task, my B task, my C task, my D task, and so on. So what that does is when you get clear on what you need to do for the next day, and you do that the day before, it sort of seeps in whilst you're in bed. I don't know how that works, but the very next day when you wake up, it's very clear what you need to get done. You've already structured out your day, and you can get to work far easier and far quicker than having to wake up and not know what task you need to get done. And that takes a lot of willpower away from you at the beginning part of the day. So you want to make your start into work every single day as easy as possible, and setting goals the night before help you do that. On a side note, I also write down a brief paragraph many days. I don't do that all the time, but many days I write down a paragraph of how my day went and things I need to work on for the very next day. So that helps me improve every single day, helps me get better in business and various areas every single day. So the third thing I do to make sure I stay as productive as possible, and I suggest you do, is I track my time. Now, I'm not doing that as well as I have done in the past, but because I have tracked my time in the past, which I recommend you at least do for a period of time, and I use Toggle, by the way, which is a great tool to do this. I might pop up a screenshot so you know what it is, but I use Toggle, and that enables me to track every area that I'm working on during the day. I track the time allocated to clients, for example. So by the end of the day, I know exactly where my hours have gone. And then from that, you can improve. Let's say you're wasting a couple of hours each day on menial tasks or things that you don't need to do. You can, it's very easy to spot where you're wasting your time or where you need to be spending your time. Now, the fourth thing I do to stay productive is a combination of two things. I meditate every single day before I go to bed. It's really important for you to stay centered, for you to be as focused as possible. This is something that really helped my focus and willpower over the last couple of years. Not that I necessarily needed it, but it's a extra, so to speak. So what I recommend for anyone out there who doesn't know what meditation is or doesn't know anything about it, check out this app called Headspace. You can download it on your iPhone. I'm not sure if it's on the Google Store or anything like that, but there is also the website that you can go to, and from there you just follow the process. It teaches you easily how to meditate, and it takes 10 minutes every single day, and it helps you stay centered and helps you stay as focused as possible when you actually get to work. Another thing that I do hand in hand with that is I exercise. I make sure every single week, some weeks of course I slack off as we all do, but every single week at large, I make sure a couple of times a week I exercise, whether that is playing a sport as I have done in various periods of time, or what I'm doing at the moment, because it was winter, and so when I'm not playing a sport, but I make sure I go to the gym a couple of times a week, and that definitely helps my mood. It definitely helps me stay as focused as possible when I get to work. So I would recommend you also incorporate that into your daily routine. And yeah, those are the number of things that I use to stay as productive as possible, as focused as possible, and hopefully you watching this video can implement some of those into your daily life, and then that translates into business results. That helps you more in the things you're trying to achieve. I hope you got something out of this content. Even though this wasn't a marketing video today, I thought I'll switch it up, but hopefully you got some value out of this as well. And please subscribe if you like to see this sort of content and marketing videos on a daily basis, and see you on the next video. Come.